What is going on, guys? My name is D-Free. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z video. So Bucchigiri match has a new trailer. I was going to cover it a few days ago, but I got kind of swamped with like a lot of other videos. So we're going to cover it here. I'm going to give you guys my insight for it. He's doing it in the beginning of his freaking description too. Dang it, Dino, or Rhyme. So we're watching this on Rhyme Style's channel, and then we also have a scan from like prior to Tokyo Game Show that I'll talk about a little bit more here. We still do not have concrete information. We still do not have concrete gameplay for this game yet, but I will give you guys my opinions on it after we watch this trailer. Maybe you've seen it already and you're just here for my opinion anyway. Hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe if you happen to be new. Let's take a look at it. The Earth. And for the record, I myself have seen it. That Frieza looking good. That Gohan, oh my god. I never saw that Gohan last time I saw it. Okay. So, oh, there's a little more. All right, so let's go over this. So, first thing I want to say is, unfortunately, that trailer is not conducive to basically anything in the game. I don't expect it to be like a Pokemon Go. I don't expect it to be anything of that nature. Based on what we know about the game thus far, in the trailer, it looks like they're running around and all this other stuff. They're at central locations, and they're playing with friends. You can probably play with friends and stuff. And I guess that doesn't mean that you can't play on the go either, because it's a mobile game technically. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I don't think it's anything like the trailer really implies, right? This is just for them to have something to have shown at the Tokyo Game Show, which is an event that is held in Tokyo, as the name infers, where they show a lot of new games and stuff like that. So they just wanted to have something to show there, and then at the very end, they're basically saying that the gameplay is coming soon, where they're actually going to show off some gameplay. So when we get that, we'll show that off. So what do we know about this? I can tell you right now, I don't care how popular this game gets. I still see it. I'm seeing it right here in the first line of Rhyme's, description, Dino's description. It is not the end of Dokkan, okay? Well, he's saying next, but this isn't Rip Dokkan. It's not Rip anything. There's also another Dragon Ball game coming out. I forget. Strongest Warrior is what it's called, but that one's a Chinese game, so that's why it's not really in the Tokyo Game Show. We didn't really hear much about it. I don't know if these games are getting localized. Very likely they won't get localized. Keep that in mind. That's how a lot of this stuff works, and if they do, it may be very far down the line. For example, Digimon Lynx has been out for like, what, a year? It's another game. You guys may or may not know about it. It is just now getting localized to a global version, so keep that in mind, right? That doesn't mean that Dragon Ball may not get localized sooner, but it took Bandai 6 months to make a global version of Dokkan Battle, for example. But no matter how popular this game is, it is not going to signify the end of Dokkan Battle. The only way Dokkan will stop is if the paying players stop paying. That's not me. That's not Rhyme Style. That's not Nano. We are like literally a minority. You guys think we spend a lot of money. We do not compare to the top paying players on that game in Japan. Like, I see people comment like, oh, if these guys stop spending, then they'll finally move on and they'll fix it. You don't understand literally how little all of us, all you guys watching my video, to be honest, even if you don't pay, how little we are as far as the overall revenue for the game. We're just a drop in the bucket. It doesn't really matter, which is why the whole let's stop paying and they'll notice us, it'll never really catch on. It won't work. So let's go ahead and just move on from that. That doesn't signify the end of the game. If you want to stop playing or you think it's dead or whatever, that's fine. That's your opinion. But the game will be around for like several years unless they just decide to end the project on their own because it simply stops printing money, which is dependent on the Japanese player base, and they only want the game to be this collectible thing. They don't care about PvP. They don't care about a lot of that stuff. I've heard it specifically from different sources. They just want it to be a collectible thing, unfortunately. So they don't really care about the problems with the game, basically. So we don't know. We'll see. Of course, I expect it to get better, but this game, Nor Strongest Warrior, will basically be the end of Dragon Ball. Especially if you're Bandai, it's like, oh, why not have multiple games that you can make money off of? Why would you end one? Unless it gets to a point where the server is too expensive. That's my little mini rant on that. So we are on Shonen Games. So make sure you subscribe to Rhyme Style and Shonen Games. Check out Shonen Games' website for more information on games and stuff like that, because there's a new Naruto game coming out as well. That's another game I'll be covering eventually. I don't know when we get a little more for that. I'm ready when you are. I guess I'll have to give it a go, is what they're saying. We saw these character arts in the trailer. The latest Dragon Ball game, Declassified. This actually took place this came out prior to the trailer we just watched, so keep that in mind. We actually already kind of took a look at it in my previous video, but we do have specific translations. Doesn't seem like this has a common translation yet. Bucchigiri means a big win, pretty much. Yeah, so it's pretty much like Dokkan. If you don't know what Dokkan means, it doesn't really mean anything. It just basically means like a sound, like pow or boom or something like that. That's what Dokkan means. It's not really a word. It doesn't really translate to anything. So Bucchigiri apparently is not one either. It's just like, it's like a kind of like slang, if you will. So Dark Denizen translated it. Dragon Ball's latest mobile game, a browser game. So let me go ahead and clarify the browser game thing. What this means is one of two things. It can mean one of two things. Now that we saw the trailer, I don't think this is the case, but I think it's totally plausible that browser means in this sense that it could be a game, now that I think about it right now, I'm going to contradict what I said, a game where you do have to go out and be active. You know, that would actually be pretty interesting, right? Because Dragon Ball is nowhere near the intellectual property that Pokemon is. It's just nowhere near as profitable. But that could be like sneaky interesting if this is something you actually have to go out and be on the road and play. I don't know how seriously we could take it as far as YouTube content creators go, but it would be really interesting. I guess with iOS 11 and other things like that, mobile screen recording could be a thing, but that's just me rambling a little bit. But it could mean that, or it could mean what we thought it to mean initially, where it's like you have to play it through a web browser. Maybe there's no application. There are a lot of things like that. And they also could do it something like that where you can log in and play the game from a computer through a web browser. For example, Duel Links is getting browser compatibility, PC compatibility. So I assume they're making an app for the PC, but it functions the same way as the mobile ones do, and they interact that way. There are other games that do that. So we thought that would be what this game is, but I wouldn't be surprised if browser means you have to go out on the road. I'll talk to my guys about that. Goku transforms in the middle of battle. This will be a key in all strategies. We saw that there. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this little image on the left. Where we see the classifications here. The keys to victory, the great character analysis. Okay, so check. What is that big number over there? So they're obviously pointing out the number. That could be some sort of speed mechanic or a battle mechanic. Of course, they also have typings, defender, and striker. Could this be a key to victory? Of course it is. It has something to do with victory game. This number be connected to the character's strength. That's what I was saying a moment ago. So that character has a defender under it. I don't know if that striker or defender thing will change, like depending on whose turn it is, who's attacking, or whatever it is, like in the gameplay. This game strikes me as something that you have to have PvP for. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be fun individually. I don't know. It depends how in-depth they want to make the game, to be honest. Like, I don't know if they're going to create, like, story missions. It just comes down to the story. The gameplay mechanics, and if that's something that could be conducive to the game. Make sure to check the character roles. Knowing the difference between defenders, strikers, etc., meaning there will be other types. So keep that in mind. There will be other roles. Will allow you to play more strategically, understand your situation, then strike. Okay, so knowing the roles will be important apparently. But all that stuff is pretty self-explanatory, to be fair. As the battle continues, fighters will slowly gain power-ups, transform, and take control of the battle. So is this going to be something where you play the game a little bit longer and, like its name implies, the little translation package there implies, Your characters get better. They transform after a certain amount of time, after a certain number of turns. Maybe that number in the top left actually, is the number of turns the character needs to be on the field before they go ahead through their evolution or whatever, right? Frieza going full power, Goku going Super Saiyan. Of course, that card implies that, right? Because it's Frieza and Krillin in the background. So it has to have something with that, especially because the very next thing is going Super Saiyan, right? The illustrations are animated. Exclamation question mark. Reminds me of a YouTube title. Bring the manga to life with the new evolution. Just plug in the URL. Oh, well then. Or click a link and you're right in. From there, you can invite friends to enjoy battles on the go. Well, that makes me think it's really going to be a browser game because it says plug in the URL, like literally a web browser game. Oh, so like the initial speculation, I don't know, man, at this point. Maybe it's both because it says on the go, but that could mean literally say, hey, I have my iPhone. Let me go into Safari or your Android, go into Google Chrome, put in the browser, log in, and you're playing the game. I don't know why they wouldn't just make an app if that's the case, though. No need to install. Yeah, see? It actually, you guys are with me, man. As we read a little more, we're breaking this down. There literally is no need to install. You just get in and play. So okay. That's interesting, to be honest. I don't know how that'll work. But the cool thing about that is, like I said, you can log in on a computer, I imagine, and play from a computer, and then just basically when you leave, play that way. But see, these type of games long since died out. Like, you don't play games like that most of the time anymore. Of course, there are other things like Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, all those other games, and even like some games where you download an application and then you still kind of log into a server from a computer, etc. But literally mobile or like browser-based games, completely reliant on Flash, if you're familiar with Flash or HTML5 or whatever, maybe I'm talking over your head, that's not a thing anymore. But apparently they're bringing it back, so we'll see, man. We'll see how this works. It'll be fun to make videos on it, though, so we'll play it a little bit. I don't know. I didn't really too much get into the IC Cardados, which is now called Dragon Ball Super Card Game. I didn't really too much get into that. It wasn't really my thing. I've done some videos on it if you want to check those out. But okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get more info on it. I just wanted to kind of give you guys my opinions, my thoughts on all this stuff. I'd break it down for you guys. Look forward to our first PV at this year's Tokyo Game Show. But the Tokyo Game Show didn't really show anything. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new for more content. It's limited subscriptions available. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.